Okay, let's see. We're waiting for ANC 1A and for Gala. I'll be back with you in a moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Somebody's ringing the bell. Still waiting. Give me a minute.
I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
I'm actually working on this case. Just give me a couple minutes here. Okay, so let me get back with you to let you know what's going on this end. First of all, just for the sake of getting this case on the record, give me 1 second, please. I'm Laverne Fletcher. I'm conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. I'm calling case number 21PRO00074. This is Creole on 14th LLC. Trading is Creole on 14, 3345 14th Street Northwest. License number ABRA 115577. This is a retailer class CR for a substantial change to change the hours of operation, add dancing, and the cover charge to the entertainment endorsement. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. And thank you for waiting. The applicant, Jeffrey Mesquiri, actually appeared in person. So he was out in the lobby, which is where I was, which is why we had the delay. He wasn't able to find the link to the roll call hearing this morning, so he made his presence in person. Therefore, the application will not be dismissed because although he's not present online, he did appear today. He also informed me that the ANC, he and the ANC have entered into a settlement agreement, which was forwarded to him this morning by ANC 1A. Mr. Schwartz, were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware of that.
And that's okay. It was just FYI. I also have received an email indicating that ANC 1A was not able to locate their link this morning. So I have attempted to send it. I'm not sure if I was successful or not, but that would explain why ANC 1A is not here. Therefore, ANC 1A will not be dismissed for not appearing. They've tried to contact us this morning to say that they didn't receive a copy of the link. So that leaves us with Tivoli Partners, Commercial LLC, care of Horning Brothers. And Mr. Schwartz, you're representing Tivoli Partners?
Yes, I am.
Tivoli Partners, so we have the protest, but Tivoli Partners, the protest filed by Tivoli Partners appears to be a dispute between the landlord and the tenant. And landlord and tenant disputes cannot be resolved through ABRA. And so landlords and tenants don't have standing to file protest.
But we're also a tenant in the building. We have our offices in the building, and we are protesting because of the noise that comes from the establishment, and it affects all the tenants in the building.
Exactly. And so I actually understand that too, Mr. Schwartz. The only way that Tivoli Partners Commercial could become a protestant is if they are abutting property owners. If your property abuts the property of Creole on 14th Street, and that wasn't indicated in the protest letter, but is your building abutting?
We're in the same building. In other words, they're on the ground floor retail. We are in the building above them on the third floor.
So there's a floor between you?
That I don't know technically. I think I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, for the purpose of the roll call hearing, Mr. Schwartz, I'll have to dismiss Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC, care of Horning Brothers, as a protestant because this appears to be a landlord-tenant dispute and the properties don't appear to abut. But what's going to happen is The board will issue an order dismissing the protest for the reasons I just stated, and you'll have an opportunity to explain to the board why Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC should be a protestant, and the board will make a decision regarding that.
The only reason I can't make a protest is because I own the abutting property. In other
So,
words, I own the rest of the shopping center that they're in. So I own all the property that's abuts them, and that's the nature of the complaint.
well, the complaint talks about a landlord-tenant dispute, and there's no discussion about any abutting properties. But if
Um,
that is, but if that is the case, Mr. Schwartz, you can make
yeah,
that case when you respond, and the board will take that into consideration.
I thought I did. If you look at the protest, I'm complaining about the decibel levels of the music coming into the adjacent properties, which I
Mhm.
own. I
Yeah,
own the I own the property next door, which is the Hispanic
the
theater.
gala. Hmm.
Yeah, Gala. So we own Gala. We're leasing it to Gala, and Gala complains to us over and over again about the noise that comes into their theater while they're trying to have a performance.
Hmm.
And I articulate that in my protest letter.
Oh, yes, you do. And let me just for the court reporter, gala is spelled Gala, capital G, capital A, capital L, capital A, all capital letters. It's the Gala Hispanic Theater. And so, Mr. Schwartz, but just, and I'm going to get to the Gala Hispanic Theater in a moment because they also filed a protest. The Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC uh, cannot be considered a protestant at this stage because from reading the protest letter, it appears to be a landlord-tenant dispute. As a matter of fact, it's discussed somewhere in your protest letter that this is a landlord-tenant dispute, and there's some language in there related to the lease as well.
Yes,
It's
yes, that is true, but it affects the entire center, though. See,
yeah,
we own the entire center, and I'm saying that the patrons that are going there late at night are disrupting the stores next door, the rest of our property. So
I
I am an adjacent. I rent all of the adjacent property around this particular establishment.
Well, you'll have an opportunity, Mr. Schwartz, to demonstrate to the board that you're an abutting property owner. It just doesn't appear to be that way at this stage. But if that's the
No.
case, you'll have a chance to explain that to the board, and also that this is not a landlord-tenant dispute. You can explain to the ABC board why it's not a landlord-tenant dispute, and they'll take that into consideration.
Okay.
So I'm going to, based on what we've discussed already, I'll have to dismiss Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC, care of Horning Brothers, as a protestant today. But when the board issues that order, Mr. Schwartz, you can provide all that additional information.
Are they going to go ahead and issue an order with regard to the request to change the hours and the dancing and cover charge?
The order that they're going to be issuing is going to dismiss Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC as a protestant. That's the order that you're going to receive, and you'll have an opportunity to explain to the board why you should be a protestant. If the board reinstates you as a protestant, then I'll get back to you because we would need to schedule a mediation to try to
Oh,
resolve this
I see.
matter.
It would be a mediation with Jeffrey,
Well,
whatever.
so it would be a mediation the
Creole.
owner, with the owner
Yeah,
and any party that's been granted standing. But,
I see. So
but
in order to have standing, I need to make it clearer that we in fact own all of the property
that,
which abuts this particular property, and we should have standing because we are harmed as an adjacent property owner.
well, once you get the board order, it will explain the reason why the protest was dismissed, which includes what you just said. that Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC is not an abutting property owner and that this is a landlord-tenant dispute.
Got
So
it.
you,
What is, okay, and then I can, what, I have an opportunity to respond to that before they make a decision on the license?
yeah, so at this point, there haven't been any decisions made on the license. So you're gonna get an order dismissing the protest. You'll have an opportunity to respond to that order within 10 days upon receipt of it. Um, I still have two more protestants to go through right now, so let me do that, and at the end of that, we'll see where we stand.
Okay,
But right now, I'm going to look at the Gala Hispanic Theater, which also filed a protest. There's no one here from the Gala Hispanic Theater, so Gala will be dismissed for a couple of reasons. One, because they failed to appear today, and two, Gala is a tenant. And you're right, they're a tenant in the Tivoli Theater building. That's your building, Mr. Schwartz?
yes,
Okay, and so they're a tenant in the building, but they are not an abutting property owner. And so in order for Gala to be considered a protestant, they would have to be an abutting property owner. They would have to own the property that abuts the Creole on 14th. So the Gala Hispanic Theater is also dismissed, but the same thing applies to them, Mr. Schwartz. They'll receive an order from the ABC board dismissing their protest for the reasons that I just mentioned, and they will also have 10 days to seek reinstatement of their protest.
okay. But if I own that property and it abuts the license property, then I would have standing, I would think.
Yeah, the board would make that decision, but yes, they would, if you provide them whatever information you have to show that you're that your property abuts Creole on 14th, and yes, the board could make that decision.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And if that happens, Mr. Swartz, you'll hear from me because we'll need to schedule a time for mediation between you and the owner.
Okay.
Um,
Is there
Gala,
one more protest? Is there one more protestant?
there's one more protestant. There's ANC 1A. ANC 1A filed a protest as well. They contacted our office this morning to say they weren't able to find the link to the roll call hearing today, but they've been in communication with us. The applicant, Jeffrey Mesquiri, appeared today and said that ANC 1A had entered into a settlement agreement with Creole on 14th. He said that he just received it this morning. I don't know that we've received it yet, but just give me a moment so maybe I can update the record related to that settlement agreement before I conclude the roll call hearing.
How does that settlement agreement affect the hearing today? I mean, do
So
you
what?
still have authority to deny the, no matter what the settlement says, do you still have the authority to deny the requested extended hours?
So the board hasn't made a decision about that yet. So the board is gonna, all of this entire case has to evolve first. Um, if you are an abutting property owner, you would be able to have a protest independent of ANC 1A.
Yeah,
If ANC 1A has entered into a settlement agreement with Creole on 14th, then if the board approves that settlement agreement, they approve it. And so the ANC will no longer be a protestant because they settled. But if the board determines that you're an abutting property owner, then your protest would continue to stand. And there would have to be a mediation between you and Creole on 14th to try to resolve your concerns. And if they were not resolvable, then there would have to be a protest hearing between Creole on 14th and Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC. Your protest would be handled separately from ANC 1A.
I see.
And
I
because abutting property owners have standing, stand alone.
So the board won't make a decision on the extended hours as long as we have a valid protest that's being processed.
That's right.
Okay.
That is right. Mr. Schwartz, give me 1 minute to see if the ANC has provided any additional information that I can give you before I conclude the roll call hearing.
Yeah, I would love a copy of, if you could email me a copy of that ANC agreement, it would be interesting.
Well, so at this stage, the board hasn't seen it or approved it.
Yeah,
So that
okay.
would become public record once it's on the board's agenda and approved. Right now, I don't even know if we have it. Hold on a second. Give me 1 minute. One second.
No, we just got it already.
What did you say, Mr. Schwartz?
No, I was just talking to somebody else. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Schwartz, I just got an email from Christine Miller for the court reporter. That's spelled Chrisistine. Miller, Miller. Miss Miller just sent an email saying that the ANC entered into a settlement agreement with Creole on 14th Street, and that they just sent the settlement agreement in. So that settlement agreement will be put on the board's agenda for review. If they approve it, you will at some point be able to get a copy of it.
Right.
But in terms of Tivoli Partners Commercial LLC, we move forward with the dismissal order and your opportunity to explain to the board how you are abutting.
Okay. Can I just ask you one question? If the ANC's settlement is basically allowing for the extended hours, and the board approves that, there's little opportunity for me to do much at that point then, right?
Yeah. So if so the board would have to, there would still be a protest hearing. As an abutting property owner, your protest hearing doesn't go away because the ANC entered into a settlement agreement, but the board would take your testimony and the testimony of Creole on 14th Street into consideration before it issues an order. They will still issue an order if there's a protest hearing.
I see. But they may approve the ANC thing before I get that opportunity.
Well, the entire case has to be concluded before the license is issued.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So even if they approve ANC's settlement, they could then again, after I protest, decide not to extend the hours.
it's possible. You never know what's going to happen at the end of a protest hearing, but as long as there is a protestant standing,
Yep.
the license is not issued.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So then I'll get my order and then I can decide if I want to continue with the protest, or at least try to.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. And Mr. Schwartz, you can, if you're in communication with the Gala Hispanic Theater, I know they're tenants of yours, you can, sort of explain to them what happened today too.
Okay, I will. All right. Well, thank you
Okay,
so
well,
much.
thank you for
Um,
coming.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. The roll call hearing is now concluded.